What's going on, guys? South Florida African Cichlids more here. As you can see, we got a new 20-gallon tank in my room. Comes with a nice stand, and I'm going to be showing you guys today how to set up your first freshwater aquarium. So stay tuned. Now, before you get started trying to fill the tank up, putting water, anything like that, let's go over a few of the basics that you are going to need. So the first thing is you're going to need a dechlorinator. I like Prime. It's very concentrated, so one capful of that will equal 50 gallons of water of tank volume. So let's say this is a 20 gallon with half a capful every water change. I'm good to go on that. That pretty much dechlorinates and makes the water safe for the fish. And then whenever you're starting a new tank, you're gonna want to have stability on hand, and what that does is it helps you with the cycling process. And I've noticed that when I use this product, I could introduce fish in immediately with some help from other sources, which I'm going to show you later. Another couple things you're going to need a tank. You're going to need some type of stand. I mean, you could just put it on the floor if you wanted to. You're going to need some type of filter. On this tank, I'm going to be running a sponge filter only. You're going to also need a heater, depending on where you live. I live in Miami, but since the tank stays inside my house, the AC at night here is at 70 degrees. And then sometimes during the day, if I'm not home, it'll go up to 80 degrees inside the house. So I don't really want their temperature to vary too much. And either way, so the heater doesn't really waste much electricity, but it's a good thing to have in there for, for constant temperature. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want any type of gravel, you could get it in the beginning. And alright guys, we're back, and here we are with the essentials that you need to start a tank. So the prime and stability we discussed before. Then you're gonna need a heater. This is one I just went out and bought. I actually got the sponge filter, the heater, and the airline tubing for under $25. So it was a pretty good deal. This is a 200 watt heater, which is pretty big for this tank, but there's nothing wrong with putting a bigger heater. And it's the smallest size they had, and as you can see, it was only like $16.99. So definitely worth it. And if I want to upgrade later on, I could just put this heater on something else. And our filtration is going to be a sponge filter, which you can see right there. It's actually a pretty decent sized one. It's the biggest one I saw that they had there, so I bought that. And the other thing you're going to need is airline tubing, and I don't have it here, but you're also going to need a little air pump. So the next step now, I'm going to clean out this tank very well because it is a little dusty on the inside and I didn't see it yesterday. And I'll come back once I do that, take these stickers off and stuff, and we'll actually begin filling it up. Alright. Alright guys, sorry for skipping ahead so much, but here we are. This is pretty much the final product. This is all you need to get started. What I actually did here is I filled it up with water almost all the way up, and I installed this sponge filter. Now I have my air compressor down under this tank on the side, and the line comes all the way back here, and there you go. That's the sponge filter going right now. As you can see, it's pretty big. It's probably bigger than my hand. And there's the heater. The reason I put it sideways is because when you do water change, this is a submersible heater. Like 90% of it is supposed to stay underwater. So when I put it like this, I don't have to move it when I do water changes. And it moves the heat on the water column. Because the other thing I did was this top. And this is just pretty much egg crate from Home Depot. And you just buy a snipping tool and you cut it to your shape. It comes like a 4 foot by a 2 foot rectangle, and it's like $12. And if you need to buy the snipping tool, it's like $10 at Home Depot as well. It's a good lid, and I'll probably be using this for now. I plan on doing water changes on this tank probably 3 times a week if I can. And this of course lets water evaporate, but since I'm going to be doing water changes so often, it's okay. Here's the top. As you can see, you can open it, lift it up, you can slide it forward, slide it back, and it's back in place. This is where my heater is connected. Sorry about that. Okay. This is where my heater is connected right here. This is where my airline tubing is coming in here. And that's pretty much it. Now if you wanted to take this over the top, you could get a plexiglass a piece cut out for you, and that's pretty much a replacement of a glass lid. But the only thing is that you might want to leave like a little hole so you could feed, or if not, you're going to be having to lift that thing manually. But it's a good replacement because that doesn't let the water evaporate if you're having problems with that. And then obviously I'm missing the light on top, and we're ready to go. When I filled this up, I put half a cap full of prime for 25 gallons. I put these two new plants in here. I have an Anubias, which was dying in my other tank actually. It never really thrived. I guess I let too much algae get a hold of it, but I cleaned it up good. It only has 3 leaves remaining, but I figured in this tank they have a better chance of surviving than with the bigger peacocks. And I also put this hornwort, which is a great plant. It grows pretty fast. And this one I have it wrapped around the bottom, and it's almost it's more than halfway up the tank. And I have one on my 24 gallon that's all the way up to the top. And you know, this helps the tank cycle as well. And another thing that I'm going to be putting in here is a bag of ceramic rings that I have in my other filter. I'm going to just throw it in here for a couple days until that sponge gets seeded. It's more likely going to be like a week. These plants have bacteria on them too. And as you can see, I didn't fill the tank to the top because the fish that are coming in here came from a 5.5 gallon. And I'm going to be putting some of that water from the 5.5 gallon to here so it doesn't shock them as much. So yeah, I'll be bringing you another update once I get the fish in here and once we get a light on. Hey guys, here we are with the tank all set up. You can see all the little guys in here. We got like at least 30 of these fry. And plants seem to be doing fine. I have a bag of ceramic rings in there which I'm moving around every once in a while, just to get the cycle going quicker. The water is a tiny bit cloudy right now, but it's no big deal. We got our heater going there. As you can see, the fish, we put them in yesterday. I was a little worried because this was pretty much like 75% new water and only a little bit of the water they were used to. But we only live a couple blocks away, and they adjusted to the water just fine, and they're more active than ever now. And so that's pretty much it. Just follow the steps. Make sure you add your dechlorinator. Make sure you have your bacteria in a bottle. Make sure if you have plants, of course, that'll help. You need some sort of filtration, your heating, your lighting, a lid if you need one. And that's pretty much it. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to leave them below. And here's a little sneak peek for next video. And this is actually the ruby fry in here. So these guys are gonna go into here eventually. Then these guys can go into the other grow out once we sell those bigger ones. Alright, thank you guys for watching as always. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I will answer them as soon as possible. And yeah, see you guys later.